Hello. Hello, and welcome to Cheers. That's one woman's opinion. I am your host, Carolyn Mills. Today we'll be looking at Cheers Season 1, Episode 18, No Contest. It seems a little weird in the beginning here. I just actually got a new actual podcasting microphone, so I'm not just using my laptop microphone. So, just a little weird to me having a microphone here. So anyway, No Contest first aired February 17th, 1983. It was directed by James Burrows and is written by Glenn Charles, Les Charles, James Burrows, and Heidi Perlman. The the guest cast includes Tip O'Neill as Tip O'Neill. Tip O'Neill was the Speaker of the House of Representatives from 1977 to 1987. He died in 1994 after a cardiac arrest. Charlie Stavola as the MC, Tessa Richard, I think that's how you say her name. I'm not sure it's Richarde. It's Richarde. But as Bonnie, Renee Gentry as Yvonne, Sharon Peters as Jocelyn, Paul Vaughn as Paul, Daryl Keith Roach as Judge Number One, and he died in 2024 undisclosed cause. James Sherwood as Judge Number Three, Bob Ari as Judge Number Two. I'm not sure why Judge 3 comes before Judge 2, but that's how it's listed. And John Ratzenberger as Cliff Clavin. Cheers is filmed in front of a live studio audience, as said by John Ratzenberger. In our summary, Norm leaves to use the restroom. Tip O'Neill comes in to the bar and sits on the stool next to Norm's stool. He explains that a woman stopped him on the street to tell him her philosophy of life and her philosophy of government, so he ducked into the bar. And I'm wondering if any of the people in the bar at this point had any inclination that he's referring to Diane, since Diane's not there yet. Because these are things that sounds like something Diane would do, stopping to tell about philosophy of life, philosophy of government, because Diane has a philosophy of everything. So I'm actually curious if anybody had an inclination, because they don't show that they have this inclination, but that seems weird that they want it. So Diane comes in and sees him, and she yells, "There you are!" And Sam brings her back to the office. She says, "I'll be right back." And Sam assures O'Neill, no, she won't. Norm comes out of the bathroom. Cliff asks what he was saying about those do-nothing Congress. Norm says that they're a bunch of clowns. The average man off the street could do a better job. He points to Tip O'Neill and says, "This bozo right here could do a better job." He's actually not looking at him, so he doesn't realize who it is. Tip O'Neill. Tip O'Neill says he might run for office. Norm scoffs, telling him to do that, where everybody knows your name plays. Norm comes in and Coach tells him that the Miss Boston Barmaid contest is today. Cliff explains that the contest is where a bunch of waitresses serve drinks and one of them wins. It's interesting that Cliff has explained to Norm what this is, since Norm's in the bar day in and day out. And he's been there since, he says, the four, and later on another episode. Not that I try not to give things away, but he says he's been there really since the Ford administration. I don't know how long Cliff's been there, but it seems like at some point Norm would know about this Boston Barmaid contest and not have to be told what it is. Of course, I also realize that's for our benefit, so we know what it is, but it seems like they would just tell some random person, not the person that's there every single day, all day, every day. So anyway, Cliff further adds that the contest is being held at Cheers this year. Sam comes in and says that the finalists have been picked and Cheers will win this year. Carl is ecstatic and says they're finally letting him pregos. Sam explains. Sorry, something popped up on my computer. Sam explains that he entered Diane. which further upsets Carla. Sam reminds her that she's pregnant, and she says that just proves that I'm congenial. Diane is coming, and they put the paper by her apron. She asks why they are so chipper. Sam says nothing at all and slides the paper to her. Diane sees the contest and announces, I hate female contests with every fiber of my being. They all walk away from her. Sam tries to get rid of the paper, and Diane asks what kind of ninny would allow herself to be in a contest like that. Carla shows Diane her picture and says, this kind. Diane yells, that's me. Carla tells her it takes guts to admit it. This scene was a little weird to me because when Sam's trying to get rid of the paper, he's crinkling it all up. So I don't know if there's more than one paper at the bar. Because when Carla shows Diane, it's like perfect condition, even though Sam had been trying to wrinkle it all up to hide it and everything. So either there's more than one, or there's definitely a continuity issue there. Continuity. I think the word is continuity. Diane is angry someone entered her. When she realizes it was Sam, she says he entered her much like one would enter a heifer in a county fair. Coach clarifies that in the Miss Boston barmaid contest, the judges come to watch you work, where in the county fair you have to take the cow to the judges. I love coaches trying to help, and he's totally clueless. Love it. Sam says that he thought she'd be happy. Sorry. Diane says that she loves being entered into degrading contests. Carla says she does too, but she's always pregnant. Sam tells Diane that the contest is an honor in Boston. Cliff agrees and says it's not as big a deal as Mail Carrier of the Year. Paul picks on Cliff, which makes Cliff angry, and Norm tells him to take it easy, and he actually leads him away. This first Paul, it's not because Paul Vaughn is a bad actor or anything, but this Paul's weird to me because I'm used to our Paul that we're gonna have later on, which I don't think it's happened yet. At one point he plays Glenn, and I can't remember if we did that episode or not. Or if it's coming up in the next few episodes. But then he's like Paul something, and then he becomes Paul Crapins, the one that's played by Paul Wilson. So just having the two Paul thing is weird to me, and I'm used to the other one. Diane says the contest is to judge how well women serve men. Sam says Cheers never won the contest, and he thought it would be nice if Diane won it for them. He says that he didn't think and just sent in her picture. He explains that he found her picture in her wallet. Diane is angry he went through her wallet. Poor Sam is just hitting everything wrong here. Sam says it was boring because all of her pictures are of herself, her cat, and her horse. So these had to be old pictures since we know that her cat had died, unless she has another cat that we don't know about. But I don't believe she does from future episodes. And I don't remember her mentioning having a horse. So that was kind of weird too. So I'm thinking these were really old pictures from her like childhood. Diane decides to call the contest and let them know what she thinks. She goes to the payphone. Norm returns with a now calmer Cliff. Cliff apologizes to Paul and explains that the Sears catalog came out this week. So it used to be for you younger people, Sears, I don't remember if Sears is still around. I think Sears is still around. But in the olden days, much like if you go on Amazon and you shop online type thing, well, the online was in a catalog form before they had online. And it was a really gigantically thick book, and that's how you could shop. And it was called the Sears catalog. I don't remember how often it came out. I don't think it came out all the time. I think it was like once a year or maybe twice. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it came out around Christmas. Um, so that's what the Sears catalog was and why he would explain that he's stressed out because of how big it is and everything. Diane tells the person on the phone she has something to say about this contest and others like it. But then she learns that there are reporters from all major newspapers in the area. She gets off the phone and Sam sees her. He gives an alter, ultimatum. Either she stays in the contest or they are no longer friends. And then when Diane agrees to stay in the contest, Sam tries again, and he says, either you go to bed with me or we're no longer friends, and Diane slaps him. And he says, I guess you can only push friendship so far. It is now time for the 45th annual Miss Boston Barmaid Contest. Sam tells Diane that judges are looking for personality and good customer service. But a nice appearance doesn't hurt. He gets to he gets her to lower her blouse below the shoulders and tussle her hair a bit. Norm is impressed with the contestants, but Cliff says they don't have what he's looking for, which is low standards. This is interesting that he says the line low standards, because in my mind, I think of the characters, I can hear him say that the women don't have what he wants, what he's looking for, and then I hear Carla saying low standards. So it's interesting that he himself is the one that says that. Carla asks Diane why she is now for the contest. Diane asks her if she likes the contest, and Carla tells her it's a sham. And Carla seems kind of wishy-washy on this because she wants to be in it, but she thinks it's a sham. So I think it's like she thinks it's a sham because she can't be in it. But I also found that with this episode that Carla seems a little wishy-washy on her views of the contest. Diane tells her that she has a plan to denounce the contest and all like it. Carla is impressed. And it's kind of nice to see them almost on the same side, relatively speaking. I mean, since Carla's flaky on this, they're sort of on the same side. The contest starts. The contestants tell about themselves. When it's Diane's turn, she says she wants to be known as the voice of my generation. As she goes on, the MC tells her that if she wins, they will see her on AM Boston. And I don't know if this is a real show because I forgot to look it up or not. Or if it's just something they made up for this episode. The name of it at any rate. Diane now needs to win. As she's getting drinks, she drops some index cards. Sorry, my hearing aid was slipping out. Sam picks them up and reads one of them. She explains she is going to win the contest so that she can make a speech denouncing it. Sam is angry. Diane tells him one day he will understand that she's doing the right thing. He tells her he is glad her facial tic has not appeared with the pressure. She tells him it's mind over matter as that tic appears, which looks something like this for you visual people. Obviously, Shelley does it better. She serves the drink to the judges. They notice the facial tic and ask her if she's okay. She explains to them about the tic. She says that everyone has obstacles to overcome and then gives them a speech ending with, "And God is my witness, I will never be hungry again." That line is actually a direct quote from. Sorry, brain just froze. Gone with the Wind. It is said by Scarlett O'Hara. People in the bar, including the judges, stand and applaud her. She wins the contest, and everyone, including Carla, cheers. Sam, however, is not happy. Okay, my nose is really itchy right now. She gives her speech, or tries to, but the MC keeps interrupting to give her prizes. First, she gets flowers and a tiara. Then 6 months of free dry cleaning and a food processor. Then she gets a $200 gift certificate to shop at Filene's department store. And that actually is a real store, or was. I don't believe it operates anymore. And it's actually, home base was in Massachusetts. In fact, I think Boston. Finally, he announces that she won a trip for two to Bermuda for a week-long vacation. Diane forgets all about her speech as she becomes ecstatic about Bermuda. Later, she tells Sam, "I sold out womanhood for a trip to Bermuda." Sam tells her that most would have done it for the dry cleaning. And I have to confess, I wouldn't have done it for the dry cleaning. I would have done it for the $200 Filene's gift certificate, so I was just a little farther past the dry cleaning, because I do like to shop. So yeah. Sam tells her that for the first time she was spontaneous, but Diane tells him that she enjoys being spontaneous every now and then, when she thinks it's appropriate. Then she concedes that perhaps she is uptight, and working at Cheers has helped her loosen up a bit. She adds maybe she is even the better for it, and that she has Sam to thank. Sam asks her to let him go to Bermuda with her. He promises to be a perfect gentleman. She tells him, then forget it. I gave this episode 4.5 out of 5 beer nuts. I thought the episode was very funny, and I always love seeing when Shelley Long does her facial tick. She does that very well. She's good with physical comedy type things. And of course, the MVP for this episode was Shelley Long. Um, it's fun even when she's trying to prove how spontaneous she can be. When she tells Sam about being spontaneous, she's got to plan out her spontaneity. I mean, she just, she's perfect. I mean, she does such a great job playing Diane. Favorite line of the episode: Diane's on the phone. Yes, I would like to speak to the person in charge of female humiliation. What do you mean, speaking? Runner up for favorite line. In the cold open, Norm's talking to Tip O'Neill and he says, "You're out of work too?" Tip O'Neill says, "No, I'm the Speaker of the House of Representatives." Norm says, "Don't be ridiculous. That would make you Tip O'Neill," looks at him, "and me a horse's butt." Tip O'Neill replies, "You said it, not me." Here's a little known fact. Shelley Long, our MVP for this episode, who is amazing at physical comedy, got her start doing improv with Second City in Chicago. She is actually from Indiana, but that's near Illinois. George Wendt, who is a Chicago native, was also a Second City member. Our question of the week: do you think that Diane sold out? If you like this episode, please like, follow, subscribe on whatever you happen to be listening to on. And you can follow us on you can join our Facebook group on Cheers, That's One Woman's Opinion. And as always, you can follow us on Instagram at Cheers, One Woman's Opinion Podcast. And you can always email us with questions or thoughts, etc. on cheersonewomanpodcast@gmail.com. Our next episode will be Cheers Season 1, Episode 19, Pick a Con, Any Con. And that's One Woman's Opinion.